summertime. We just finished the boat festival there. Um, Ratha Yatra before that, and Snana Yatra before that. So, okay, let's read from one of Srila Prabhupada's books. Renunciation, true wisdom, and then the topic, chapter 2, is the science of devotion, and subtopic is Lord Krishna incarnates in Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. Okay, so along while we read, we're gonna make a commentary. Is that okay? Let's see how far we can go. Did I say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya?
Yes.
Okay, this is how the book starts in this topic. Lord Krishna incarnates in Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. Persons with meager intelligence worship the demigods for fleeting fortunes. So this is the tendency of the less intelligent people. They worship the demigods to fulfill their material desires, which is ephemeral. Ephemeral means temporary. The results is not everlasting. There is a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. Usually, they just want to fulfill their material desires because everyone wants to be happy. That is the purpose of human form of life, to be happy, but they don't. Real happiness, according to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is always increasing and never ending. So material happiness is temporary, and actually it puts you more into a miserable condition of life because of being unsatisfied. You want to hunker more and more for that happiness which can never be fulfilled. Hmm? Quote, so one may ask, quote, if by worshiping the Supreme Lord one can have all his desires fulfilled, why doesn't everyone worship him? Unquote. Why? Because Krishna, this is how Krishna is perfect. He gives us freedom to choose what to do and what not to do. But in the human form of life, we have to know what to do and what not to do. The tendency of the conditioned soul is that they don't know what to do. They are misinformed, first of all, and they are not really having the knowledge directly coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the disciplic succession. So, yes, Krishna, he doesn't force everyone. Love means voluntary. It's like you coming here this evening to this satsanga or sadhu sangha, and have darshan of the beautiful deities of Swayam Spuriti Prabhu. And it's very beautiful to come here every time. They look very effulgent. Anyone force you to come here this evening? No. But the information is that there is a program here today. So others, they chose not to come here this evening as well. They chose to do something else. Maybe it's more important, but nothing can be more important about hearing about the glories, the name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So not everyone worships the Supreme Lord. there are more worshippers of devatas than Lord Krishna in the material world. Because in this spiritual world, there are no devatas, only Krishna and the devotees. So worshipping of the Supreme Lord, meaning is that bhaja. Prabhupada mentions that in the Bhagavad Gita, the word bhaja, right? Bhaja means only for Krishna. You don't say bhaja Lord Shiva. You don't say bhaja Ganesh or bhaja Surya Dev or bhaja Saraswati. So this material benedictions coming from the devatas, they're temporary. It doesn't last long. And after that, then you pray again. But worship of the Supreme Lord, one's desires, one can have all his desires fulfilled. So if you're going to desire something, might as well desire for love of God, because attaining love of God fulfills everyone's desires. You'll be satisfied. But Krishna doesn't give that to everyone, even though it's available for everyone. Why he doesn't give for everyone? Because this is the only way how one can purchase Lord Krishna. Wait, Maharaj, what do you mean by purchase Lord Krishna? How can we purchase Lord Krishna? Is that a commodity that you buy? No. It is your eagerness. It is your greed, as Srila Rupa Goswami says, lobha. Lobha. It's like the materialists, they're greedy for money, money, sweeter than honey. So the devotees also are greedy for service. And the more one serves the Supreme Lord, then the more Lord makes himself available. Devarshi Narada once answered a similar question posed by Yudhishthir Maharaj. The sage says, oh, this is the favorite prayers. Mahapajadi Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Salpa Punya Vatan Rajan Vishvaso Naivajayate. Everyone is awake, right? Not yet. O king, a person with little piety can never develop faith in the Lord Govinda, his mercy, his holy name, or his pure devotees. With a little faith. Little piety. I mean, it was pious. Piety is from pious. Pious activities. It's like material, mundane platform. Pious activities means building hospitals, feeding the poor, giving shelter to the homeless, or having water available to the thirsty, or building hospital for the sick, or giving education to those who need them. These are considered to be pious activities in the mundane platform. Real piety, real pious activities means serving Krishna. Serving Krishna. And how do we develop faith? It says it can never develop faith. This is through the association of devotees. Because whenever the congregation of devotees are there, Krishna is present. Lord Krishna has corroborated 728. Yesam tu atam atagatam apam jnanamam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajanti mam tridha brata. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Persons with demoniac mentality are steeped in sin. Hence, their understanding of the importance of spiritual knowledge is nil. Those who have been able to eradicate their sins by living according to the dictates of their social and spiritual order, and who have thus acquired sufficient piety, are qualified to practice karma yoga. So it takes many, many lifetimes at least to come to, Prabhupada says here, to qualify to practice karma yoga. At least the sins has been eradicated, ah, is nil. And then Prabhupada says, gradually they progress to jnana yoga, and finally in meditation, they realize the transcendental and supreme position of the Lord. So this Karma Kanda section of the Vedas are for those who wish to fulfill their material desires. That's Karma Kanda section. There's a big percentage of those who wish to fulfill their material desires. But if you want to fulfill your material desires, still you have to follow what are the statements coming from the Shastra. It's not just one would like to be enjoying but not following. That means you incur sin. But if you follow the dictations coming from the Shastra, even you want to fulfill your material desires, there is certain procedure how to do it. Certain procedure, like even eating meat. If one wants to eat meat, you have to follow what the Shastra says. Don't eat cow's flesh. Everywhere in the world, restaurants are available. Even here, just coming here, we notice there's so many restaurants, and they're killing cows for this. So, of Bhagavad Gita, there are two. One is Karma Yoga, and then there's another one, Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Like even those who work and they give part of the results of their fruitive activities for propagating Krishna consciousness, then their work, it is Bhakti Yoga. It says that in the Bhagavad Gita. You're also doing Bhakti, even if you work, and then you give part of your result of your activities in spreading Krishna consciousness. That is considered as Bhakti. It may not have the same thing as doing artik, or cooking for the deities. It's like, our brahmacharis, they're engaged 24 hours. Sannyasi is supposed to be engaged. But even if you work, you're still doing Bhakti Yoga, practicing Bhakti Yoga. Gradually, they progress to Jnana Yoga and finally in meditation. So when we say Jnana Yoga, that means cultivation of knowledge based from the teachings of the scriptures, of the sadhus, or the spiritual master. Then finally, in meditation. If one is not able to reach that conclusion while cultivating knowledge, reading the scriptures, of surrendering unto Krishna, then more likely he will become an impersonalist. He will miss the point of what the message of the Vedas supposed to be. Vedaisya sarvai aham eva vedya. Of all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedas. So it's very important, especially in human form of life, to understand this. If you missed it, then one will become a impersonalist. And finally, in meditation, now you come to this realizing the transcendental and supreme position of the Supreme Lord. So the Vedas are particularly divided into this Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda. Now, in Upasana Kanda means worshipping devatas also, but in conclusion, one will worship Vasudev. Vasudev Sarvam Iti Samahatma Sudurlava. Then one will become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. But at least one acknowledges that there are some higher living beings, even if they worship the devatas. Hmm. Such highly fortunate realized souls can see in their hearts the eternal transcendental 200, 200 form of the Supreme Lord known as Shama Sundar playing his flute. Such highly fortunate realized souls can see in their hearts. You see, Vrindavan is in your heart. Vrindavan is in our heart. Not just the Paramatma is present there, but Krishna is present there as a two-handed form, Shama Sundar. Only devotees can realize this, and when they meditate, when they go into deep meditation, into samadhi, they can see Krishna. They can talk with Krishna. Krishna will talk back to them. But in the meantime, for neophytes, deity worship is there. Mm. Deity worship, so that we will understand the Supreme Lord, none different than the Supreme Lord, will be able to appreciate His beauty. Uh, when you see Krishna is always playing his flute, but can we hear Krishna's flute playing? The sound vibration? It is just like he's like this and no sound coming out. There is a sound coming out. Yeah. Or when we offer food to Krishna, we see the food is still there. You remember the story of Raghunandan Das Thakur? How is it that when he offered food to Krishna, Krishna ate? We reciprocate accordingly. So similarly, for the devotee of the Supreme Lord, he's not just seeing Krishna. He knows Paramatma is present in everyone's heart. He treats everyone equally. But again, according to their or advancement in Krishna consciousness, he treats them accordingly. But at the same time, he sees Krishna also within his heart, his own heart. It's not the heart that's pumping the blood. Soul has a heart. Okay? When we say to a person, hey, Prabhu, that devotee has a heart of gold. Why? Does his heart is gold and mine is silver and yours is bronze or what? What does that mean? That means he's very, very compassionate. He is very kind. He's very truthful. All the qualities of the demigods resides within the body of a devotee. And for that matter, he can see Krishna within his heart. Prabhupada says here, he can see in their hearts. That is the goal. Not just seeing in his heart, but he's also seeing. Huh? You ever heard that story of Sakshi Gopal? Yeah? Where the old Brahmana, yeah, he tried to bring Gopal to his village, and he was trying to convince him to go with him. So Gopal says, I cannot go. He says, I cannot walk. But the elderly Brahmana says, if you can speak, you can also walk. Yeah? We've heard that story, isn't it? And you go to Orissa, you'll see that deity of Sakshi Gopal. You'll see. So pure devotee, they have this realization, and it's not mythology. And how do I know that you're coming with me? Okay, you have to walk before me, but you can hear the tinkling of my ankle bells. You see? In the Brahma Samhita, the description of the Lord is mentioned. Chapter 5, text 30. Now, this Brahma Samhita is a book compiled, hymns. Samhita means hymns by Lord Brahma, the first living being in our universe. In our universe, our Lord Brahma is about over 50 years old now. Over 50 years old. And he lived for 100 years old. 100 years old, his calculation according to our time is 311 trillion years. That's a long time. Yeah? You know trillion? We know billion. A billion is a lot. What do you say of trillion? Is one day is 8.6 billion years. 12 hours is 4.3 billion years. So that means is over 150 trillion years. Am I correct? Yes? So 100, it says, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India and he saw this book, he made copies. He asked his associates to make copies of this book. This is only the 5th chapter where every day we hear the song, Govindam Adipurusam Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusam Tamaham Bhajami. And the rest is history. Prabhupada, when he heard this song in Los Angeles, even though it was sung by Yamuna Mataji, says, no, this is transcendental. We should do this. All the temples of ISKCON when we greet the deities. 5th chapter only, but there are 100 chapters. And this chapter, 5th chapter alone, explains the whole, everything that we need to know. Spiritual world, material world, different demigods, yeah? Like Lord Shiva. So here is 5th chapter, text 30. Venum kamlantam aravinda dalayataksham varhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam koti kamaniya vishesha shobham govindam adipurusam tamaham bhajami. Govindam Adipurusam Tamam Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head bedecked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of Cupid. So this is the description of Lord Krishna. Govinda, another name for Lord Krishna is Govinda. Lord Krishna has unlimited names according to his different activities. Govinda, that means he's dear to the cows and to the brahmanas. Go also is senses, pleasing to the senses. Those who are coming or committing sins like illicit sex, fault finding, and unjustified violence rarely attain spiritual knowledge or realization. Sinful activities deepen the dark gloom of ignorance, while pious activities bring the light of transcendental knowledge into one's life. This knowledge culminates in realization of Krishna. However, simply performing pious activities does not make one eligible for God realization. Only when a person performs pious activities and associates with saintly persons does spiritual knowledge dawn on his consciousness. Then, when he transcends the platform of duality, especially when no longer takes part in the controversy of the over the absolute truth's monistic or dualistic existence, he sees Lord Krishna in his enlightenment and worships him with determination as one without a second, matchless and supreme. In the perfected stage of pious activities, the mode of goodness dominates the consciousness, dissipating the darkness of nescience and illusion, which are products of the mode of ignorance. As soon as the mode of passion is fully subdued, spiritual realization illumines the sky of one's consciousness. So all the conditioned souls in the material world are under these modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. One who is in the mode of ignorance, he is prone to commit sinful activities. He's in the mode of darkness, mode of ignorance, laziness, sleep, always sleeping. Uh, Usually, the mode in the mode of ignorance, the color is black, not like Krishna. There's a saying in English also, black is beautiful. Yeah, but Prabhupada says in the material world, black is not beautiful. Krishna is bluish black, like monsoon cloud, bluish color. In the mode of passion means everything once quickly. Ah, like nowadays, mode of passion, everything they want immediate result. Just like when I was thinking of like when I was traveling with our Guru Maharaj, he's so much in the mode of goodness. When some issues needs to be resolved, he doesn't make decisions immediately. He analyzes things. He is thinking about what is the best to do many times. And sometimes he would confer. He would ask others, what is your opinion? What do you think? Huh? One who's in the mode of passion, he will he will react immediately what to do. And usually he says that the first reaction that one will take is wrong. So don't do that. Huh? Is there some problem, some issue happened, or just now? Yeah, yeah, okay, do it, do it. No, no, no. Says you have to think three times first what to do. Or the best. It's like Prabhupada is like that also. He would ask, shall we go today or tomorrow? Hmm? But usually the one who's in the mode of passion, patapat. Yes? Very fast, immediately. And usually, oh no, I made a mistake. Sometimes Guru Maharaj will say, I think I made a mistake. No, he did not make any mistake. He's so precise. But when he makes the decision, from within the Paramatma also, he can hear what the Paramatma is saying. And how can we hear what Paramatma is saying when our senses are fully controlled? It says when the senses are fully controlled, then the Paramatma is already achieved. Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. So be careful. One in the mode of goodness, he says, one in the mode of goodness, he's trying to cultivate knowledge. Cultivate knowledge based from the Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra. So Prabhupada says, at least come to the platform, the mode of goodness, because that is the stepping stone of coming into pure goodness, transcendental platform. And when one is in the transcendental platform, spiritual realization, then everything becomes clear. Illuminates the sky of one's consciousness. There is no if, there is no maybe, there is no perhaps. It's absolute. Hmm. So, where can we get this sane, how to be in the mode of goodness? At least come into the association as much as possible with the devotees. Hmm. We're safe with the devotees. And Prabhupada says also the safest place in this world is in kirtan. In kirtan, you don't even think of what is your problem, whether you're hungry or not. Am I correct? So most of you went to the kirtan ras. You had this experience when you're in the middle of kirtan. You're in a different platform. Not anymore, mundane platform, isn't it? You were thinking of your belly, whether you're hungry or not, in the middle of kirtan. No, no. Okay, let's continue here. The point to consider at this juncture is, does anyone in the present age Kali Yuga have the means to properly perform such pious activities as fire sacrifices, giving in charity, penances, or austerities? Hmm. Yeah, it says in Kali Yuga, there is no perfect Brahmana. But Prabhupada says at the same time that at least there should be a class in society that we have to establish as Brahmanas. Hmm. It is universally accepted that the unfortunate people of Kali Yuga are absolutely unable to undertake such extravagances. For this reason, Lord Chaitanya, the most magnificent incarnation of Godhead and the savior of the Kali Yuga, has declared the truth of the following mantra from Brihad Naradiya Purana. Harir Nam, Harir Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalonaste Vanaste Vanaste Vagatir Anyata. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name. of the Lord. Chanting the holy name of the Lord, chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. 3 times repeated the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the holy name, and there is no other way. How is it that it was repeated 3 times? See, when it is repeated 3 times, it is imperative that it has to be done. And that is the only way. It's like in India, if you ask for a direction, you have to ask 3 times. Because first time says, age, age. But actually, the road is going like this. Then you ask another person, I'm looking for this address. Because in India, in some places, there are no numbers. Yeah. It's like in the village. They don't need numbers. Everyone knows each other. In Mauritius, it's the same thing. I was surprised. They don't have numbering system. The houses. It's like one local is called, okay, number one, number two, number three. But there's so many houses there. So if you ask a direction, especially in India, as I said, I'm looking for this address. Even if you have a GPS, you will not find an address in India in a GPS. You have to ask. They say, again, shida, shida, shida. Or maybe they just want to get rid of you. Okay, you just go, see it, no problem, go. It's like another way of saying, I'm busy, get away, I don't want to talk to you. But then, finally, after the third person you ask, because you're getting closer, you'll find it. So similarly here, in Brihad Naradiya Purana, we are in the age of Kali. Kalo Sudra Sambhava. Everyone is Sudra. Sudra means the lowest class. But there is a position of the Sudras also in the society. They are the ones who assist or serve the higher 3 classes: the Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, and the Brahmanas. Without them, it's like here, in UAE, if you don't have these workers, it will not become like this. Hmm? Like in some other countries, they don't want to do lower class job, isn't it? So we should thank those workers who help the society. Without them, we will not be like this in Abu Dhabi. You will not have big buildings and nice roads and everything. So in Kali Yuga, there is only one way how one can be delivered. And this is by chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no fire sacrifice, no giving to charity, no building hospitals, no feeding the poor, no giving shelter to the homeless. But when we chant the holy name of the Lord, everything is automatically done. It's like Prabhupada says, Kumbh Mela is coming, right? In January in Allahabad, starting 10th of January till 10th of, huh? 13th of January. No, we go there before. We go there before it starts. We'll have a camp from 10th of January till 10th of February. Yeah, yeah. And we don't go there for salvation. We don't go there to bathe and the time of the nectar, the amrita will be coming from the sky. There are about 4 dates. Makar Sankranti is one of them. This is the royal bathing. Prabhupada says we don't go there for salvation. Devotees automatically they are liberated. We go there to preach. We go there to spread the holy name of the Lord We go there for book distribution, and we go there for prasadam distribution. And our prasad is the best. People from many, many camps, they will come to our ISKCON camp, and we serve free prasad, especially the halava. Yes. So in this day and age, uh, quarrel and hypocrisy, these are the symptoms of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is supposed to be the worst age, but at the same time, it is the best because of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. For the next 10,000 years, uh, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord will be the main religion. The main religion. After 10,000 years, no more Haribol, Haribol. It's gone. It's finished. Everything will be so degraded. People will be living underground. No more rice, no more sugar, no milk, no food practically to eat. Even nowadays, I was told they say, oh, this is organic. What is that? Cauliflower. This is organic. Come on, you put everything, you put pesticides all the time to make them grow so fast. People, I was watching the video. What we eat practically is like makes you sick. It's not makes you. What we eat nowadays doesn't really sustain us. It makes you more sick. It makes you to have cancer. 60 years ago, there's no cancer. 50 years ago, there's no cancer. Huh? It's just recently because of what we eat. So Kali Yuga, Prabhupada says, better we have our own farm, grow our own food, have cows, milking cows. Uh, and our motto is simple living, high thinking. Not simple thinking and high living. No, no. Yeah, simple living, high thinking. Not simple living and high. No. Simple. Yeah, simple living and high thinking. No, it's the same thing. Simple living, high thinking. So simple thinking, high living. Yes. No, it should not be like that. So it says here, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So what does that mean? We don't have any other way. That is the only way. In the age of Kali, the only process for attaining perfection is to hear, chant, and remember the holy name of the Supreme Lord. Numerous quotes from the scriptures substantiate this. All inauspiciousness is destroyed by chanting the all-auspicious name of Lord Krishna. The Srimad Bhagavatam 12:12:55 confirms this. Abhismriti Krishna Padaravindayo Shinoti Abhadrani Chasam Tanoti Satvasya Shuddhing Paramatma Bhaktim Jnanam Chabhijnana Viraga Yuktam. Remembrance of Lord Krishna's lotus feet destroys everything inauspicious and awards the greatest good fortune. It purifies the heart and bestows devotion for the Supreme Soul, along with knowledge enriched with realization and renunciation. So, within the heart of the Supreme Lord, the devotee resides. And within the heart of the devotee, Lord Krishna resides. So, remembrance of Lord Krishna's lotus feet and remembrance of the lotus feet of our spiritual master is the same. Because the spiritual master carries the same purpose of Lord Krishna's purpose to bring back home, back to Godhead, the conditioned souls. There is no difference. So even at the time of death, when we think of Lord Krishna or his pure devotee, we also go back home, back to Godhead. There is no difference. Hmm. Therefore, to remain beyond the reach of delusion and duality, one has to always remember and meditate on the beatific form of Lord Krishna, who has the darkest complexion and is playing his flute. One must also remember and chant the holy name of Krishna, which is none different from him, its nature being eternal, perfect, pure, and independent. So there's no difference between Lord Krishna and his name. The original name of God is Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. All attractive. He attracts everyone, not just human form of life. In Vrindavan, everyone is always waiting for Krishna. When will he glance upon them? Even the cows, even the animals, even the birds, mammals, even the trees, they're waiting for Lord Krishna. When Lord Krishna will come and rest under the shade of my leaves and twigs and branches. Everyone is fully aware of Lord Krishna. Even the sand, they're fully conscious. They're waiting for Lord Krishna to step upon them with his soft lotus feet. In the material world is the opposite. This is dead matter. In the spiritual world, everyone is fully conscious and they're all attracted to Krishna. Now, our purpose is to attract Krishna. He is all attractive. How to attract Lord Krishna? By chanting his holy. Call upon the holy name of the Supreme Lord, we're calling him. Oh, Hare, oh, Shrimati Radharani, please engage me in the service of Lord Krishna. When someone calls you, he got your attention, isn't it? There was a survey done in America. What is the sweetest word that one wants to hear? Number one is your name. That is the sweetest word. If I say, Jai Kesava Prabhu, oh, Hare Krishna, Maharaj is calling me. You feel glad. You feel like so happy. Oh, Maharaj is calling me. He must have something important to say. Yeah. So this also, the origin of this is Krishna. When we call upon Krishna purely, without any offenses, then Krishna gets our attention. And immediately he will come. It's like the story of Draupadi. Yeah? She's being disrobed. She doesn't have any other recourse. No, she tried everything. Huh? She was holding her sari so that she will not be defamed. But very powerful, was pulling the sari. And immediately she gave up. I cannot do anything. I have to call on Keshava. So he says, oh, Keshava, both arms. I have no other way of getting out of this situation. You are my only hope. So Keshava, he expanded as an incarnation of unlimited sari. That is Krishna. As a sari to save. So that story also of Nanda Maharaj, Lord Krishna was very far away, but he called upon Nanda Maharaj. And Lord Krishna immediately was there. Now, Krishna is everywhere, but for his devotee, again, when he calls upon him, he's immediately right there. Mm. So we can attract the all attractive by chanting his name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Especially the time of death. That is the most crucial, critical moment. And if we cannot remember Lord Krishna, hopefully devotees are around us at the time of death who will be calling upon Lord Krishna to save us. 8 chapter, text 6 and 7. Yam yam vapi smaram vavan chajanti anti kalivaram tam tam ivaiti kunteya sada tad bhava bhavita tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudyacha may arpita mano buddhir mam ivaishyashi asamsaya. Whatever state of his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So one may say, oh Maharaj, I'm still young. I will think of Krishna when I get old. Right now, I'm busy with my family and with my work. I don't have so much time for Krishna. But I will make sure that at the time of death, I will think of Krishna. Definitely, I'll do that, Maharaj. I will do it. Do you think that's going to work? Maybe. But the chance is not very high. Not very high. We have to practice to think of Krishna every day. As the saying goes, practice makes one perfect. Look at Ajamil. Ajamil also, he was not actually thinking of Krishna, but because he had this family, Brahmana family, that in the beginning he was trained up to be a devotee. And he named his youngest son as Narayana at the age of 92. He still begot a child from a prostitute. And he did a lot of sinful activities, not knowing that that is sin. He got carried away to fulfill his desire to make his family happy. That is natural, isn't it? Even in the animal kingdom, you'll see the dogs or you see the birds. They will go look for worms, then bring to the little bird just been hatched and became birds. And they will wait for the mother. I don't know what happens to the father. It is the mother who will make them, who will help them. Turn off your phones unless Krishna is calling you. So, Jamil, he called his son, the name of the son, Narayana, all the time. Before he eats, he will call Narayana. He was thinking of Narayana all the time and calling the name Narayana. So actually he was in the Namabas state. That makes him liberated. But still he has to perform bhakti yoga completely to go back home, back to Godhead. He went to Haridwar. That's why in India, many of our devotees, they name their sons or daughters, and not just in India, all over the world, after the names related to Radha and Krishna. What's your name? Krishna. There you go. But some, they will call their children Pinky, Rosie, uh, Edgy, Zooey, Hare Krishna. Actually, it affects the person. Whatever our parents named us, it affects us. Somehow or other, my parents gave me name Joram. Joram is a name found in the Bible. So it is spiritual also. Hmm? So this boy is lucky. His name given by his parents Krishna. So whenever his parents saying Krishna, they get liberated actually. Even though there's only one Krishna, Brajendra. But there are many Krishnas after Lord Krishna. And he gets benefited whenever he hears his name being called, his consciousness actually becoming more and more purified. So if we remember Lord Krishna's name at the time of death, it guarantees that one will also go back home, back to Godhead. We witness many devotees leaving their bodies in Vrindavan, and they're being surrounded by devotees who is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So somehow, if we are sincere, Lord Krishna will make an arrangement, even if there is some shortcomings from our side. Krishna will make an arrangement for us to remember him at the time of death. Because Krishna feels obliged towards his devotees. Whoever render even little bit of service towards the Lord or his devotees, Krishna will make up the difference at the time of death to remember him. Guaranteed. Yeah. Some of these devotees who left their bodies in Vrindavan somehow, uh, in their lifetime, prior to leaving their bodies in Vrindavan, some of them, they also kind of like became diverted in the practice of bhakti. But they did a lot of service to Prabhupada. They did a lot of service in the for the mission of Srila Prabhupada's Sankirtan. That's possible because Maya is heavy, and if we don't follow properly, we can fall into Maya. But somehow, before the end of their life, they want to leave their body in Vrindavan, and that was fulfilled. And if one leaves one body in Vrindavan, guarantees one will go back home, back to Godhead. Confirmed. Everyone who leaves one's body in Vrindavan, they remember Krishna. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without a doubt. Is Lord Krishna saying to Arjuna. At the time of death, Prabhupada says, our state of consciousness determines our next birth. Death destroys the body made up of the five gross elements, but the subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence, and false ego remains. So when we die, and somehow we're not able to make it, we'll take up another material form. And the mind, intelligence, and ego, which is part of this material body, subtle elements, goes along with the soul. Next slide. That's why some of us, very intelligent, like Mozart, Mozart, composer, huh? Classical music. Such a young boy. How come he knows all of this? Where did he get this from? From previous life. That means karma. Wherever we go, next life, our karma follows us like shadow. Isn't it? Our shadow is always behind us, or on our left, or in the front, or in the right. Yeah? That's karma. But for the devotees, there is no more karma. Hmm. As the air carries the scent of the place it blows over, so the soul carries a person's subtle body of mind, intelligence, and false ego, along with his state of consciousness unto his next birth, and his body is determined accordingly. So we can actually, for a devotee, there is no death. Why? Because next life, he just continues on from where he left off. Whether he goes back home, back to Godhead, or attain another material form. As Prabhupada says, if you finish 11% this lifetime in bhakti, next life it'll be 12%. When a breeze blows over a garden, it carries the fragrance of flowers with it. But when it blows over a rubbish heap and breeze is filled with the stench. Similarly, the activities a person performs during his lifetime continuously influence his mentality. And at the time of death, the cumulative effect of these activities determines his state of consciousness. So now, everything that we do every day is like a preparation for our next life. We are molding our next body, next life, according to the performance that we do every day. It's like predetermined now what we're going to be next life, according to what we're doing every day, according to where our consciousness is every day. This is what it says. It reflects what are we going to be next life. This is very important, especially for you who have children. Better prepare their next life right now. And do your duty as the parents to bring them up to be Krishna conscious. When they get older, if they still remember and followed what you have taught to them, there is a chance that they'll be elevated and their consciousness will become Krishna conscious at the time of death. And if they don't, that is their karma. You have nothing to do with them. It is not your fault. Because you're doing your duty to remind them is very difficult. As far as I see when I travel, 14 years old is a magical age for these young people. Because that's the age they want to prove that, hey, I can think for myself now. You cannot tell me what to do. When they say yes, I will say no. And when you say no, I will say yes. They want to exercise their freedom. But if they are brought up really good, and then they'll become Krishna conscious. During my travel, I've heard, sometimes, oh, you should not be overdoing it though, the parents, to force their children to be Krishna conscious. You have to be very delicate. There is this one story of a boy, and he was forced to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But the boy likes chapati. So the parents will say, if you don't chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, no chapati. No chapati. So the boy will chant Hare Krishna because he likes chapati. Yeah, that is the reward of chanting, right? He was forced. How many chapatis you want? How many runs you chant? One chapati is not enough, isn't it? Unless it's a maha chapati like this big. So what happened? You know what happened to the boy when he grew up? He became an atheist. He became an atheist. He didn't want to do anything with Krishna consciousness. It should not be like that. It should not be. That is very extreme. But I've seen in some places, oh boy, the children, I mean, this happens in America. They will make a decision. I want to live separate from my family. There's a certain age in America you can do that. Uh, and they will not come to the mandir. They will come maybe, in Janmastami or Gaur Purnima, but not in a regular way because they have their own life now. They have their own karma. Hare Krishna. I hope that will not happen to your children. We pray that they become always Krishna conscious. Because the Bhagavatam says one should not be a king, one should not be a teacher, one should not be a guru, one should not be a parent, if you cannot release your subjects from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Okay, it's almost 9:30. We can go on and on and on and on, but I'm sure you're going to work tomorrow. um, it's very interesting how Prabhupada writes, which is like very simple English, but it's so deep. It's so deep. I would like to stop here now. If you have any question, we can go on for another 10 minutes or so. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Maharaj, for this wonderful class. You spoke about children getting Krishna consciousness from parents, and
Should I make it
the
a point
parents,
this week? A little bit hot, yeah.
if the parents are following Krishna consciousness, then children are likely to get, and it's our duty to give.
What is your question? I already said. Don't repeat what I said.
So, but as a parent, we are almost spending our most of our time in work, major time on work, and the remaining time part of the household duties also, and very little time is
What
spent
is
on
your household?
taking care of children education or
Okay.
so the time we spend on Krishna consciousness is percentage wise a bit smaller,
How much?
maybe 10% or 15%. So
Maybe less.
yeah, and because up to age of 60 we are almost doing 10%, and after age of 60 we may get more time and we may do more.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a quote from, I think, Bhagavad Gita, Shastra, you said that our state of consciousness at the time of death will be as per the activities we perform in our life. So,
Right.
so we have performed so less activities on Krishna consciousness, the chances of getting the Krishna consciousness at the time of death, the right bhava at the time of death is very less, Maharaj. So, is there any hope for
So
us?
what to do?
Yeah, is there any hope for us?
What to do? Is that the
Yes,
question?
yes.
You have to set a good example. You have to do sadhana. You have to wake up early, sacrifice your time, and let them be engaged also in some service. If you have deities at home, it says that one should have, grihastas should have deities. How old are your children?
They are grown up now,
Like,
around
like what?
like 20 years and 60 years.
Hare Krishna. But there is never too late in Krishna consciousness. You invite them to come to satsanga also, like this. They should hear this. You tell them, you choose your association. Hmm? Engage them as much as possible whenever there's a chance to be in Krishna consciousness. It's never too late in Krishna consciousness. I joined when I was 22 years old. But when I was young, I was always like very much interested into this subject matter, even at the age of 14, 15. Are they vegetarians?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, we are all vegetarian.
Okay, so that's good. Give them Bhagavad Gita. Tell them this Bhagavad Gita is a book of knowledge. It will answer all your questions in life. No force. You give them all of this. It's up to them. If they don't be discouraged. That is their life now. Give them all the facilities. Give them Mahaprasad. Hmm? What else can you do? They're fortunate to have you as their parents, giving them opportunity to take up Krishna consciousness. Be yourself the best example of a Krishna conscious father one can be. How to do that? You chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It says there 3 times. There's no other way. There's no other way. You chant, but no force to them. No force. Give them the availability that this is good for you. If they don't take it up, it's up to them. Because the more you will force them, the more they will rebel. Okay? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But still, you're being a parent to remind them till your last breath to take up Krishna consciousness. If they take up even 2% of their life in this lifetime, that's fine. Next life, they'll take up 3%. Have you introduced them to Krishna consciousness? Huh? Oh, I'm asking you, yes? So, that's good enough. But remind them, ask them, can you chant like 1 round? What is 1 round? 10 minutes of their 24 hours. Ask them, can you read one sloka every day? That's another 2 minutes. Huh? So, there's no difficulty. Any other question? Hare Krishna. Yes.
Right. So you said, like there is this thing that if we take Hare
Did we have
Krishna.
honey on this already?
Yes, Maharaj. No, you said you will edit, Maharaj.
Bolo.
Yeah, so if we take Hare Krishna Mahamantra unconsciously also, like Ajamila, right? Not Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I mean, he took Krishna's name, right? Ajamila.
Narayan.
Yeah, yeah. So that time, he still got at the time of death, he still got liberated.
He was saved. He did not die. He had a heart attack and he survived the heart attack.
So there is a positive influence, right? But when you said that example of the devotee kid who was like forcefully, but then why did he turn atheist?
Because he was forced. It was against his will.
But he still took the name.
Yeah, that's okay.
So then,
Either you have a positive result or negative result if you are being forced. My whole point is the parents should not force. At the age of 14, the children, the parents should be like the friend of the child. You cannot, it's different. At the age of 5, you say, don't do that. No, don't, no. You cannot say that at the age of 14. Before, like our Sundar, before he reached age of 5, let him do whatever he likes to do. But still, you tell them, but they don't have that capacity to understand what is right and wrong. But 5 years old, you have they have the capacity now to understand what is right and what is wrong. But still, you have to guide them. But once they reach 14, that is the magic age. How old are you?
nine.
19. So your father forced you to come here. So there you go. You have a good upbringing. I remember you. I've been coming for many years when you were still young. That's good. So keep like that. When you
Initially, there is a force, right? Initially.
but this force, but not force using like like a stick anymore. No, the force is there, not but not really force. Encouraging. Let's say the word encouraging you, right? Force means like you'll get a beating if you don't come. Did your father told you this? No. Okay. No chapati. So we should be careful. Yeah. So when you get married, you're gonna have, I mean, family. You do this to your children also, and show your best example, being a devotee, to follow you. Example is better than precept. What is the use of our talking if we don't do what we say? We should walk our talk, is what they say. Professional reciters and scriptures, they're very good, they're expert. But what is their private life? Yeah? Hare Krishna. Okay, anything else? One last question. We mentioned many, many things today about the holy name, many, many things. You probably have forgotten already.
told that whatever we do every day, that will predetermine our.
Yeah, whatever we do every day. Remember this, okay? Whatever activity we are preparing our next life according to what we are doing every day. Yes.
Once we are in the class, or once we are reading, or once we are in the class, we feel this is very, very important and nothing else.
Mm-mm.
But when we are doing other things like job and we are taking care,
Mm-mm.
that's also important. But we feel that is more important than this, and we tend to neglect this unless we come to other class, unless we start hearing the video.
Mm-mm.
So how to make always this should be our priority.
Oh, okay. I understand your question. Uh, the main purpose of what you're doing every day should have a long-term result. This you have to keep in your mind. You're thinking of the future for your children, for your family. But what you're doing ultimately is that Krishna should be the center, ultimately, at the end. Right now, it seems to be like mundane activities. You go to work, you're doing the computer. It has nothing to do with Krishna, but actually, that is bhakti yoga. How? Because you're thinking of your future to be Krishna conscious. I have to do this for now. I will not be like this the whole time. Look at Jai Keshava Prabhu. He's retiring. He's going to India in a couple of months. He's done. Been there, done that. That's it. So don't remain in Abu Dhabi for the rest of your life. What's going to happen to you here? Nothing. What? Are you just going to earn your money all the time? No. Save. Save your money. Go to India or preach in India. You know what's Jai Kesava gonna do back in India when he's there? He's gonna go spread the holy name. And this is very painful to live this place. This is comfortable. Come on, you live like kings here. Even the richest people in India, they don't live like this. Hmm? Are you just gonna be comfortable like this the whole time? No. I know Swami Spuriti Prabhu, he wants to go back to India as soon as possible. But he has something to do here, something to finish here. If you just want to say, oh, Maharaj, okay, I'll think of Krishna, but I want to remain here, forget that. That's why your experience here is very good for you, so that you will realize that one day I'll move back to India. I'm going to spend my time in India and helping Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So temporarily, yes, you are here. This is where you are right now. But this is not the end result. If the end result is if you remain here and you die here, Hare Krishna, what is the chance of going back home, back to Godhead? Very little. But you've done your part. You made your children grown up as much as possible to make them Krishna conscious, to help them think of Krishna at the time of death. But you have to think of yourself also. Am I able to think of Krishna at the time of death, or I'm always going to be thinking of my children? Hare Krishna. No, you've done your part already. When your time to exit, exit in a very peaceful way. You don't have to think of anything else except you going back to Godhead. I'm just giving you an example. Yeah. So we should be like that also. And this is my duty to remind you what your purpose of life is all about. What do I get from this? Nice cup of tea? This is what I get. Okay? So I'm reminding you, you know all of this already. This is the duty of the sannyasi to remind the grihastas the purpose of human form of life. That's it. So you think about the future. That is the most important, the end result. Now it's temporary. It looks like, hey, this is mundane. No, it is not mundane. What you're doing out there is not mundane. If you don't think of Krishna, then that is mundane. But you're thinking of Krishna. How am I gonna be in my end of life? Where am I gonna be? That is the most important thing. Okay? Thank you for that question. It's a very important question. And I'm recording this in my friends in Facebook. Message for everyone, not just for Abu Dhabi or Avatari Desh Yatra. No, it's for everyone. Okay? Sukriya. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Can I request the devotees to come forward and take the prasadam from Maharaj quickly?
I want to have Achaman.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.